You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
What's up, family? What's up? Welcome. We continue our celebration of 7 years in broadcasting with Positive Power WXI Christian Media. Of course, you guys know, not only do we do podcasting, well, we're an internet radio station and we host podcasts, several days a week and also 24 hours on a live stream out to some of the major platforms overseas, abroad, wherever you want to say, internationally. But also we do short films and a lot of television. God has blessed us and moved us into cable television, as well as bringing on other podcasters who have their own show, the show that I don't produce. They produce their own program. We just engineer it. So one of those people who was part of another broadcast that used to come on as actually was airing for 2 hours every week, which we do miss dearly, and she will be back someday. Praise God. She had a segment on that show, and then God moved her into her own programming, her own podcast on Positive Power, and that's Health Chat with Gene. Coach Gene is here, the author, the coach, the retired Army nurse, all of those good things, the mother, the wife. What's up, Coach Gene? How you doing?
I'm wonderful, Batman. Good to see you again. I missed you. This Christmas hiatus has been good, but I miss everybody.
I know. It's hard. Sometimes your body tells you need a break, but when you do take it, your mind say, wait a minute, I miss my audience. I miss being in charge, because you're in charge. That's your thing. You're the boss.
I don't, but I enjoy it so much. I don't feel like I'm the boss, compared to me being a boss chick when I was in the Army, right, and having all of that. But because I enjoy it so much, so it's not like it's not a job, it's not a chore. It's just enjoyment. I really enjoy it, and who would have thunk it, right?
Yeah, it's a form of ministry. It's like you giving all of you to make other people feel good about whatever God is trying to reach or teach them.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because it is a part of my ministry. When God had led me, when you had brought it up and you offered me, the show, and I knew it was a part of my ministry, and that was the main thing. It is ministry for me. It is a huge part of what makes up, Minister Gene Turner and Spirit of a Warrior Life Enterprises is the podcast show, Health Chat with Coach Gene, because when I was going through, the chemotherapy and the diagnosis of a malignant tumor they found on my lung and going through the chemotherapy, God said to me, I heard the word Spirit of a Warrior. And so I had no idea that was the start of this whole enterprise that includes the podcast with Health Chat with Coach Gene. But he told me then, I've called you to teach others stewardship over their health.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Hopefully that thing will blossom into other enterprises, because that's basically how God works. He don't just start with just that one route, it just start branching out into other things, and who knows. And one of the things I like so much about your show and about you, I've met other health professionals who do podcasting, but they don't really instill that much of what you do in their programming. Now I don't listen to their programming every day, so I can't say they don't do it at all, but what I've heard, it didn't put the spin on it, like, because you was right in there. You were in those, I guess, those Army hospitals or those military hospitals, and you've seen the worst conditions of soldiers, and then you've seen them, you see their families' faces, you saw the hurt, the loss, you saw it all. You saw more than we probably can even dream of seeing,
and that's the thing. In my almost 34 years, March will be 34 years since I've been a nurse. And in all those years, and I've worked mostly the bulk was Army hospitals, military medical centers, military community hospitals, but I worked in some civilian organizations as well. But you know, through all of that, it's amazing because even as a healthcare provider, when you feel like you've given the best care you can give, the best quality of care, I don't believe we still understand the holistic aspect of what that patient is going through until we've actually experienced it.
Yeah.
You know, we just look at the physical body, this physical man, their physical healing, and we don't think about their mental, their social, their environment, their
Yeah.
everything that makes us holistic, the whole person.
It's true. It's true. And
You
one
know.
thing that's good about your credibility, when you bring experts in, it's not, it's like you guys on the same level. Even if that person is a doctor or whatever part of, you know, medical officer, you can still go toe to toe with them, making sure that the end users are getting the information we need because you know about it. You know.
Mhm.
So in other words, I've heard shows where that person was probably a doctor of another sort, and then they had another doctor on sharing something. They couldn't really give off a great podcast because they didn't know anything about any of the things they was talking about. So they didn't come
Mhm.
together with the programming. And that's one thing I enjoy about your show because it comes together. And I know you being you, because you did have a high position in as a nurse, so you kind of understand all the you know, being organized with
Yeah.
what you do. And that's the great thing. You have to be organized when you do podcasting. You just can't just show up and wing a show. And I
No,
know.
you got to do the work. I don't care if you're monetizing or not monetizing. And I don't do it. I'm not monetizing right now, even though, you know, I am looking for people to, you know,
Mhm.
have ads on the show, give people that opportunity. But number one, you have to prepare. And yes,
Right.
that Virgo in me, that planner, that organizer, that army chick, you know, I am a planner by I'm just a planner and organized. And so I'm working on shows at least a month out, trying to see who, you know, my guests are going to be,
Right.
what we're going to discuss. You know, I'm having that communication with them leading up to the show. And then, yes, my experience as a nurse, almost 34 years, I've seen a lot of things. I've worked in various areas. You can kind of say I'm a jack of all trades, but I do specialize in certain things as well. But it's work and you have to enjoy it. And yes, I do.
That's right.
You know, I can be a little aggressive sometimes, and I don't mind going toe to toe with the doctors and the other experts, you know, because my show is about we're gonna debate, we're gonna debunk, we're
Mhm.
gonna educate, inspire, but and bring awareness because I'm a huge patient healthcare advocate.
That's right. That's right. And it's important for the the listeners, because they want to know, you know, that's just like when you think about real estate. A lot of people don't know. A lot of times when you go buy property, their real estate agent's not really representing you. They, even though they taking you house to house, they represent the seller. You know, so in radio, it has to be that way too. We want to know who you're representing on this show. Are you selling what they selling, or are you representing us, the listener?
Right, right. And you know, I'm glad you said that because it's important to me to represent all people.
That's right.
All people. I don't care what culture, what walk of life, whether you're American, whether you're overseas, it does not matter. Health is an issue for all of us because we can't do anything. I don't care if it's ministry, I don't care if it's your career, I don't care if it's raising kids, grandkids, be a good wife, husband, whatever. If you are not in a optimum state of health, you don't have your strength, you can't do nothing. People are big on success, success, success. Nothing wrong with success, but if you don't have your health and strength, guess what? You're not going to be successful. I had a business before now, before everything that kicked off in 2018. And guess what? Because I was weak at the time from the medications, the treatments, I couldn't continue that business. I had to terminate it. Broke my heart. But in that, I had to trust God that he was rebirthing something in me. And he was Spirit of a Warrior, Health Chat with Coach Gene
Right.
Pike, these things. But without your health and strength, you can't do nothing. So health affects us all. I don't care what race, color, creed you are. I don't care about your faith background. We are all human, and our health affects everything that we do, regardless of your background.
So true, so true. And I'm so happy about your show too, because it's very encouraging knowing that you know, you're talking about proper dieting, exercise, being fit at 50. You know, some people give up at a certain age. You know, you hear about athletes retiring very early in their age. Now you're seeing Mike Tyson in the ring in his age, in his 50s now. And then you're hearing about football players that still playing at a high level at age 37, you know, because they take care of their body. And I think I remember T.O. Terrell Owens being one of the first ones that really talked a lot about taking care of his body, you know, certain things he was doing to be ready, because it takes a long time for your body to heal after playing a collision sport like that. You know, but just think about playing tennis, you know, trauma on your ankles, baseball, it's a mental game. So health, what you eat and what you put in yourself is so important, but a lot of us don't know enough about it. You know, we grew up on potato chips and now laters and maybe an apple a day was pretty much all you heard.
And Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, man, now laters, man, squirrels and coconut squares, you know. That's what we lived off, milkshakes. I think a milkshake will fill us up from McDonald's.
Look, Carvel's and Mr. Softy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
One meal a day, you know, we talk about that now with my kids. You know, a lot of college students, they don't really eat breakfast. They just show up, bring the class, come home, and then they think about stopping to get something to eat. So a lot of them are only eating one meal a day, but you can't do that when you start getting in your 30s and your 40s.
No.
Body's deprived.
Health begins before even that. And that's why, remember the series we did on Health Chat with Coach Gene back in August about It's a Family Affair?
Yes.
The health series, because truly health begins, I don't even want to say in the womb, but prior to that, and how that mother and that father, that couple prepares for the pregnancy. Because some people plan a pregnancy, some people don't. But that parents, that mother and father would want to have their body in an optimum state of health, because one is donating the seed, the other one is being implanted with it, and the seed is growing within them. You see what
the makeup of the baby is being developed.
You see what I'm saying? So it even begins before 20s and 30s, you know? So Health Chat with Coach Gene aims to bring awareness to all of that. And again, not just the physical health, mental health, spiritual health is important. All of that is important, because it all is our DNA. It all makes us who we are as human beings and as children of God. You know, that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Now you had a guest
that encompasses our body.
Now you had a guest on the show that we met on pray.com. I think he was first an internist and then became an alternative medicine doctor. And he said some things on that I never heard. I mean, I'm online all the time looking for facts. Even my oldest son, he's really into it too. He tried to do thorough research. And he said that it takes almost 90 days for the body to become totally built up and immune to, you know, certain environmental issues. And I didn't know that. I thought, like they said about medicine, I think it takes medicine, what they say, 6 weeks or something to really get into your system.
It takes over 30 days for the medicine to actually get in your system and work if you are on medications, right? So yeah, that was Dr. Harris out of Houston. He's a lifestyle medicine provider and also an internist and a pharmacist. He's like really cool like that.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that. And it's true. It takes up to that amount of time for your body to adjust to the new lifestyle changes, right? It takes time for your taste buds to adjust to your new nutritional lifestyle changes. And then after that time, you try to eat something real sugary and you done cut out all that sugar. You try to eat something like white pasta, white flour, white sugar, white bread, and all of that. And see that won't, after that time frame, your taste buds be like, oh no. Let me tell you, the smell of meat makes me nauseous. I can't smell it. If I taste something that's a little sweet, it makes me nauseous. So yes, your body, it takes your body up to 3 months to start feeling the effects. So therefore, if you go to the labs, the doctor draw your labs after 90 days of that, it takes up to that time for you start to see changes in your blood work, change in your test results, changes in your weight, and all these different things, you know, for your body to start demonstrating the effects of the positive lifestyle changes.
Yeah, when they check your when they check your numbers for glucose levels, it sees the whole 3 months, you know.
Right, that's your hemoglobin A1C, exactly.
Yeah, so that's amazing because you're trying to do good. Say, okay, I got a physical exam coming up in a week. I got to eat right, exercise. They gonna help.
No, that's why people gotta get it. It's a lifestyle. You can't, even with this pandemic, right, Batman? Everybody now is on the elderberries and the vitamin C and the vitamin D and all this stuff, right? I can't find what I need now, my favorite herbal plant.
Yeah, it was tough,
everybody
man.
on that tip, right? But what they not realizing is it's a lifestyle. I've been doing elderberry teas and stuff since 2016. You know what I'm saying? When I got back from Korea, I learned some things when I was stationed in Korea. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I learned a lot about those things. I was really into ginseng and glucosamine. Yeah, all that. Yeah, for a long time because I was trying to get rid of caffeine. Wasn't trying to do as much caffeine. I knew a lot of I could be replaced with the ginsengs and everything, and understand how they work. But what's crazy though, people think that they could just jump into stuff real quick. You know, if they don't see no results, they quit really quick because they don't understand their makeup.
They don't understand the dynamics of it. Like you said, the makeup, that, you know, how the body actually functions. You know, they don't understand that, you know. Yes, our cells are regenerating when we sleeping, but it's still a process, right?
Yeah.
We want quick fixes instead of embracing and going through the process.
That's right. Understand how your body's made of, understand your blood type, I think is important too. One thing for me was I had a lot of issues with inflammation, you know, and I thought, you know, ibuprofen was like a temporary solution. So I had to get away from that. And then that's when I started understanding that I had to get away from, I was kind of led to this film that I saw on one of our streaming platforms. And it led me to, after I saw for my eyes, and I'm gonna tell you a real quick story. You know, I'm a real big football fanatic. You know, I love good teams. And sometimes I pick favorite players from other teams too, if my team don't make it all the way. Of course, I'm a really big Baltimore Ravens fan.
Right.
But the Ravens was like one of the greatest teams on turf. They broke all kinds of records in 2019. But then it was one team that was just kind of came out of nowhere. And it's because they accidentally discovered the power of eating a meatless diet. Yeah, and these guys became vegans because they saw the results of an older player on the team where they saw he was fighting it out in practice, and then the same results was in the game, and they wondered how did he turn over so quickly, because it's not that easy to go from a Sunday game and to practice Tuesday and Wednesday and feel like yourself again. It takes the body time to heal. But they saw that he was able to turn around really quickly, so they started asking questions of this teammate and found out that his wife was preparing him these vegan meals. No meats. And so they bought into it because they saw for their eyes what the results were. So me listening to this, and I saw how that team turned it on and almost went to the Super Bowl. Of course, you know, I got my conspiracy theories why they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. you know, this was marketing purposes to keep the league alive. But they did, you know, their journey to the Super Bowl did end, but it wasn't because of what they didn't continue to do. It's because the coach decided to switch up his game plan. But anyway, I heard what these guys were saying, and I said, you know, that is my main issue, getting up in the morning. That's why I had to go get a dog to get me up in the morning to get moving. I said, I can't. What's going to happen when I'm 10 years older? You know, so I have to still have a dog. So anyway. So I followed that same diet. Of course, I didn't make it on the vegan diet. I just didn't like the choice of the meals. But I did feel that I could survive on eating like seafood. I love seafood, shrimp and flounder and all types of different fish and tuna and stuff, and mix it in with a lot of our, I call them fajitas, you know, your onions, your peppers,
Right.
and all the different things
Right.
to make the food more flavorful, and your spices. So now I'm
Right.
doing really, really well, and I'm back to weightlifting again because it took me so long to recover from weightlifting. Even though the weightlifting was the results of me reversing my diabetes, it became very painful though at the same time because
Right.
I had to do a lot of weightlifting in order to build the hormones, to produce the hormones to help get the glucose levels in
Right.
control. But because of the inflammation, it was tough
Right.
until I saw that film. So now I'm able to live a normal life. You know, I feel really good. And I even can tell it in my skin, you know.
Right.
I haven't been this complexion since I was in elementary school.
It shows. It shows when you make positive and permanent lifestyle changes. There is a glow. You have increased energy. You know, it shows in your skin. You know, when you drink your water and cut out all them sugary drinks and that sugar and all these different things. And that's why I believe those football players had the energy to get them to play like they needed to play to get close to at least getting to the Super Bowl, where they made the playoffs.
They went really deep. Yeah, they went really deep. It was like 11 guys bought into it. 11 guys, and they almost made it, except for the coach changed the game plan because they were playing the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they was a high-scoring team at the time, and I guess he felt like you had to throw the ball to win the game, but he didn't have to. So anyway, and it was the same reason why the Ravens didn't go that far neither. They went away from what got them there. So anyway, but besides that, the point was these guys were able to become stronger and able to overcome the inflammation. Because your body inflames when it's traumatized, right?
It does. You're exactly right. So there's the good inflammation, like when you sprain your ankle and stuff like that, and you see that swelling and you put some ice on it, it goes down. But then there's chronic inflammation as well, which is a buildup of inflammation in your body over time, over years and years and years and years. A lot of the foods we eat are inflammatory. Did you know tomatoes were inflammatory?
Yeah. I noticed something about tomatoes though. I noticed that the chefs don't put but 1 or 2 little pieces on your plate. Where, you know, when you're at home, you're putting slices of it, you're decorating your salad with it.
Well, I stopped that because a tomato is inflammatory.
Yeah, I barely use tomato. If I do, it was her idea.
Right. So you got these foods, certain foods are inflammatory, and that's why it's important to know what we're eating and I became more conscious of the foods, not necessarily the foods, but the ingredients in the foods.
The chemicals, yeah.
But I ended up with that malignant tumor in my lung. Now, granted, that could have been environmental. I mean, I've been downrange to Iraq around burn pits and different things, but environment could have played a role. Hormones could have played a role, but I became more conscious of it and reading the labels more and researching stuff during the time I was going through that in 2018. Because what people may be thinking is good for them or thinking is vegan, read that label.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, that was scary to me trying that vegan thing because everything was frozen, and when you look at it, it had all the sodium in it and stuff like that. I was like, well, so
names you can't pronounce.
Yeah, so I said it didn't look safe. It didn't like that. So I decided to stay with, like, the market that I go to. They have a lot of fresh vegetables and everything. So basically, I keep my meals really simple. But my mom actually started being attracted to what I was telling her. I said, yeah, Ma, I can almost eat salmon every day because I make it look different all the time. And if I decide to switch over to flounder, I'm baking or I'm having fun with it on the skillet and mixing it up with the different colorful vegetables and stuff like that. And then I have a piece of fruit for my dessert. I do like ice cream, and I did find a company that make sugarless ice cream because I like chocolate. Just the little chocolate covering makes me happy, you know. So I'm able to move on like that.
Right. It's about finding the alternatives, right? And it's also about, look, when you're trying to eat right and live a healthier lifestyle, when it comes to your nutrition and your overall health, look, you gotta cook. Now, I'll admit, during my active duty days, I'm retired now. So, cooking is my thing, but I have to cook to make sure that I'm fixing the healthier meals that I want to fix and consume. So cooking is a big thing. So some people don't like to cook. They're like, I don't have time to cook, but you got to make the time. Meal
I'm gonna tell
prep.
you, Ms. Jean, Coach, I'm gonna tell you something you did. I know you and I talk about marketing. I'm gonna just put a little spin on what you just said. I know we talk about marketing all the time, how to monetize. No, I always tell people all the time, it's about patience and just let the listeners know that you're gonna be here. They want to know when they tune in this time, are you gonna still be there before they start really spending money on you or someone come along? It's about longevity, I feel. And this is what we talking about today, the 7 years. But one thing you did that I thought was so magical, and you probably didn't understand how potent and powerful it was. And that's when you did your cooking segment on social media. I said, man, I love that. I mean, it's something that comes from those cooking shows that attract people anyway. It's like, even though they're doing something that you do yourself, there's just something calming about it. The way they drop the little salt on there and, pick the skillet up and show you the food. I love that show you did. I was like, oh man, I have to tell her about that.
Oh, all right. So, okay. So are you talking about my videos? Or are you talking about the last show before the holiday when I had my guest who was a chef and she went to culinary school and was talking about some recipes?
No, this was a video you did.
Oh, yeah. I'm always doing that on Facebook.
Yeah, I really like that.
I'm always doing. Did you see the one I just did?
No, which one was that one?
It was just recently, Sunday before Christmas, last Sunday before Christmas.
That may have been the one I saw.
I was doing the blackened shrimp.
Right,
and,
that's the one. That's the one.
Avocado.
Yeah.
Well, that recipe I got from a blog from my guest that was on the show.
That's right. Yeah. What was her name? What was her name? Her last name was
Jarvis. Lisa
Jarvis. Right.
Right. That was what's the date of that show? Was that the 20th?
Yeah, that was a Thursday. Yeah.
No. What was that date? The 17th? Whatever the last show was.
Yeah, it was a Thursday before Christmas.
Yeah. So I'm very interactive. I know I'm an introvert and people think I'm an extrovert and they be like, nah, you're not an introvert. I just know, hey, I just like to be me and have fun.
Yeah. I think Virgos fall into that category where they kind of in between because you like to entertain people at the same time, but sometimes you do need to have your own time where you want to be away from people. Like right now, my thing I'm looking to do this year is to do more script writing because my son told me that he needs a script for me to do to do TV. He can't just be I'm telling him his lines.
Okay, cool.
So we're actually working on a project together, a book series. So we're going to be getting into publishing. And because he's getting into media, and I feel like that could be a good skill set for him to start now. So when he gets into that part of his studies, it won't be frustrating because he can do it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking to do some. It's funny because this watch night service, New Year's Eve, I'm doing a 5-minute sermonette, and the title that was given to me was about taking responsibility for your God-given assignments. And I feel that's speaking a lot to me because, I thank God for you and your platform that has allowed me an opportunity to have a worldwide platform. And being that I know that my major assignment is to teach others stewardship, holistic health and healing, that I'm looking to incorporate at least once a month a segment on being fit for duty. And it's got to do with your spiritual health and well-being, as well as your physical health and well-being. And, you mentioned something about new, and we've got to walk into our new now. And people want to wait till New Year's to start their New Year's resolution. Resolutions don't work. But why are you waiting until January 1st to make lifestyle changes and talk about you're going to eat better, exercise more? You can start now. There's no better time than now. Start now, man. I'm like, what you waiting for? That even promised you. Start now.
That's right. But Coach, I think it's a positive thing for you to have your broadcast, because you got to look at it like this. Just like an athlete, You know, what's going to make that athlete want to train and practice hard before the season start without a coach? You know, without that coach. You know, a lot of times, like I know my son, he's playing flag football. Even though it was just flag football, it still was a competition, and it led to tournament play. You couldn't get to the tournament unless you can win during regular season. So I enrolled him in a speed program, which helps the kid build speed and strength and balance and stuff like that. Because he was always the best player on the field. But I said, well, one day you're gonna run against a player that's even better than you, because he's not better than you because of skills, because he worked hard before that game. So I put him in this program, and it kind of pumped him up more excited about the season, because now he feels like he's more prepared, more ready, faster, stronger, you know. So I think that's the same thing with anybody getting the exercise. A lot of times they don't have any encouragement. They may have a spouse at home saying, "Oh, you still look fat to me. Oh, you've been going for 3 weeks. I don't see no changes." You don't have nobody in your corner a lot of times. Even in entrepreneurship, you don't necessarily have anybody in your corner, because the person who you're with, they took you because they liked the way you were. You weren't in shape, or you didn't look like an Instagram model when they met you. So why you worrying about it now? But that's you now. You know, maybe you want to look like an Instagram model. You was inspired by those young girls. Some woman was in her 50s looking like she's in her 30s. You know, I seen a guy in his 60s that looked like he was in his 40s. He inspired me to do even more weights. At first, I wasn't lifting weights to sculpt a body. I was lifting it more so just to build muscle, to build the hormones, the chemicals. But I seen what this guy was doing. I said, man, I couldn't do sit-ups again. Go after the 6-pack. You know, he had it. He was in his 60s. He was way older than me, you know. So sometimes you need to find that person, or that person need to come to you, through whether it's through a broadcast, social media, or whatever, and you stay with that person. You know, they will stay with you through your journey in weight loss or to a diet change. So they need to be giving them. So look at it like that.
And so, and I think that's a lot of why, I'm just now beginning to understand, is being revealed to me, why I had to go through what I went through, being healthy as a horse, over 50, no medications, a marathon, a half marathon run. So I lived that life, right? And then suddenly diagnosed, suddenly a tumor appeared out of nowhere, suddenly went through that. Never been sick a day in my life, but went through all of that.
So you went down to zero.
Yeah.
You had to come back to where you are today.
Exactly. God is using my testimony, my story, to show others that it can be done. He gives us the strength, the resilience to get from that to this. And even if you're dealing with a chronic illness or disease, you can reclaim your health and live the life that God intended you to live, which is what? Life more abundantly, right?
Plus, you got to think about our God too. Our God is spectacular. You know, that was a boring story. We heard that you was a former military Army person. Now you're teaching physics. You had to train to be like that. You had no choice. You had to do PT. You had to go do this during the summer. So now you say, well, look, I was laying in a hospital bed in a coma for almost 90 days, and look at me now, bam,
And even with that episode, that was unexpected. But and for those that don't know, yes, I coded. God brought me back, and I literally had to learn, because what we don't use, we lose, right? So that month in the hospital, my muscles had atrophied. When they first stood me up, I was weak. They had to help me. I had to learn how to walk again and do all the things. I was in a wheelchair for a few days in rehab until I started moving. So God, I literally feel like God has rebirth. It's a rebirthing.
Yeah. You remind me of my uncle. My uncle was actually, he was a guy we all looked up to, because he went in the Marines. He boxed while he was there. So did my dad. And he was an embassy guard, one of the highest positions you can have in Marines. And when he got out, we all looked up to him, and then he took on bike riding, and I think he was golfing. He was golfing. And suddenly, one day his wife noticed that he was walking crooked. He did have a pretty strenuous job at one time, driving for one of the parcel services, timely deliveries, and it started affecting his spinal system. So his wife noticed that he was walking sideways of some sort. So he went to a physician, talked about what he could do. He had to have an operation, straighten out his
Right.
walk. Turned out he ended up becoming paralyzed on the results of that operation. Whole left side of his body, whole left side was paralyzed. And
No.
yep. So he was able to return back to work, to rehab, decided to retire. Now he just golfs whenever he wants to and he's traveling. But that's a testimony though, because he's talking
Right.
about a guy that was completely, paralyzed on the left side of his body and was in top shape.
Right.
Bike rider, golf, it's not easy playing 18 holes of golf, y'all. I play it. It's not that easy.
But see, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, just the focus in that game itself, it's tough.
But
man,
even that brings up a good point, though, Batman. We never know when we are going to have a suddenly health challenge, right?
That's right.
You can go out, hit your house today, be in a bad car accident, right? Or you can be like me, suddenly diagnosed with something, right? We never know. And so that's why it is imperative that we take care of our temples, right? Because your uncle is a living testimony, I'm a living testimony, that how we care for our temples, our bodies, and during times of wellness does help determine your outcome, your problem. Should you find yourself with a suddenly diagnosis, suddenly with diabetes, suddenly with a malignant tumor, suddenly with cancer, suddenly in a car accident, right? So you don't know. So where we take care of our bodies now during wellness will determine your outcome, your results, your prognosis, should you find yourself in that suddenly health check.
And you hear those stories all the time. The doctor said, wow, man, if it wasn't for the fact that you was healthy before you got in here, you wouldn't have survived this operation, or even make the ride on the ambulance.
You know how many times I've heard that? My former oncologist said that to me. That cardiac doctor says that to me to this day, because I coded. They revived me. They actually had to pump my chest. They told my husband and family I would not make it with the next 24 hours. Made it with the next 24 hours. Then they said I would not survive the medevac from where I was to Midtown Atlanta. Okay. But God.
That's right.
But if I had not, that's what the doctors tell me. If I had not been as good shape as I was in, it would be a different story. I say God.
And the same story is being told to people who've been surviving COVID. It wasn't for the fact that they was in top shape. And it could be some of the reason why some of our doctors are starting to get sick now, because they're working long hours, no rest, no sleep, no good diet. They're probably eating out of the hospital machine. And that's why a lot of them appreciate when volunteers bring food, healthy foods to the hospital. If it's something you want to do, a lot of us not built to go into the hood and feed the homeless. Hey, just drop off some food to the fire department, pizzas. Go to your nearby hospital and say, hey, I got 8 boxes of pizza, say I bring this, to help these people out because they don't eat healthy, And I remember before, my son doctor said, yeah, you'd be surprised with some of the healthy ingredients in the pizza. It was the thin crust. Get thin crust.
Well, look, they got some of these pizza places now are making gluten-free crust, wheat crust. That's better than the white crust, regular crust, and make it a garden-style pizza loaded with vegetables. That's a start.
And all that stuff on there.
Yeah, but as a healthcare worker, I can tell you that you're working them long shifts, long hours. You're just trying to grab whatever you can grab because you don't even have time to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
Believe it or not. So
yeah. So they are operating on this much of everything.
Exactly.
My neighbor, he comes home, next thing you know, he's going back to another hospital to help out.
Right. And then pile the stress of all of that on top of your poor eating habits, right? The fact that you're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the waiting to happen. It's because now more than ever, our hospitals are overran. They got the COVID patients. They got those coming in with heart attacks and different things. Yeah. First of all, before this pandemic, we didn't have enough nurses. There was a nursing shortage. So can you imagine now?
Yeah, not counting people was, was an issue with flu last season too, coming out of November. I remember being in at one of the urgent care facilities in January. Guy in the next room, man, so he was coughing out his lungs. Doctor said, "Man, why didn't you not get the flu shot? The symptoms wouldn't be this bad." You know,
Mhm.
I was like, "Whoa," that was just the flu they was dealing with. They had to carry that dude out through ambulance, man. So,
Wow.
so we got a lot to worry about right now going into 2021.
Well, we're
Pneumonia.
not going to worry though, because we know
That's
who
right.
holds the
Trying
world
to
in
stay
the
healthy.
God Almighty.
And remember, Dr. Hurd said himself that if you have a healthy immune system, you have a 97% chance of beating COVID. 97% chance. That's really high. And again, he
Mhm.
said when you do change your diet and you're starting to put the right things, your C's, your D's, and your multivitamins, your B12s and stuff for energy, he said it takes 90 days of
Yeah.
so, once you get that habit going after the first 30 days, make sure you know who your supplier gonna be. I actually go to a nutritionist store, a nutritional store.
Uh-huh.
That's what they specialize in
Right.
to get my supplements.
But a lot of the grocery stores, at least here in the Atlanta area, like your Kroger's and Publix, are now they have a whole organic, natural food section.
Right.
It's booming, booming. But even in that, you still need to know how to read labels. Get with your girl, Coach Jean, because I be
Right.
reading labels because a lot of the things you still got to watch that's been embedded in these quote unquote organic
Yeah,
foods.
yeah.
You still,
Fillers, what they call them, fillers. Some of the stuff out
yeah.
there. Yeah, do your research, y'all. You got some people out
That,
there that's really good about doing reviews on YouTube. They don't necessarily work for those companies. That's just what they do. They get paid by YouTube for their followers. So they do a really good job of being honest and straight up with you and everything. So check it out, y'all. Even when it comes to your protein supplements and powders, you got some really good ones out there. You got some companies that fail at that kind of stuff. They may be good at one thing, but not too good at another. So you got
right.
to watch out find out what it is. So
Yeah.
do your research. You're home now. Pull it up. All right.
Definitely. Right.
All right,
Right.
Coach. Look, I appreciate you helping us celebrate our 7 years and being part of Positive Power WXI Christian Media, giving people what they need to live a fulfilled purpose life. And the main thing is to keep people encouraged. That's basically what our programming is all about. Our cable
Man.
programming, our social media programming, and as well as our broadcast programming, to keep people encouraged, whether you're an artist or you're just a person just doing a 9 to 5. We want to still keep you encouraged because one day you're going to be on the show. Right? One of these shows. All right, Coach, you want to end us with any encouraging words to your listeners?
First of all, let me just say congratulations on 7 years, Batman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, entire Positive Power 21 Radio family. Glad to be a part of it, that God has allowed me this opportunity. But look, what I want to say is your new now starts now. Don't focus on, oh, I messed up. Oh, I know I'm not eating right, hadn't ate right in the past. The past is the past. We are now pressing forward
Right.
into 2021. So do not be discouraged. Just pick yourself back up and resume. It is never too late to make healthier lifestyle change. As long as you got breath in your body, you got another day in God's grace. It's a new beginning. So let
Right.
your new start now.
Yeah. And we're going to continue to make sure you guys get a chance to hear some of the experts to help out Coach. Make sure, you catch on all the whatever you subscribe to, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast Addy. You will find her podcast streaming on those. Just Google her, Barbara. She will come right up. All right. Check her out, y'all. She won't steer you wrong.
No, I will not. God won't allow me to.
All right, that's right.
I do practice what I preach.
That's right. We try and keep the balance of the universe. Too much bad out there right there. We got to keep some good out there, y'all. So
Positive energy,
right.
Positive vibes. Amen.
That's right. Your spirit needs that balance.
Right.
All right. So
Right.
stay away from too much bad news, y'all.
Exactly.
Tune in to Positive Power. All right.
Tune in.
That's right. All right, Coach Jimmy. Appreciate you sharing time with us during the holiday. I know you was chilling. You told me you was chilling.
Like a villain.
All right, I'm gonna try to get me some rest today too. I'll be actually planning a hiking trip with my son. We're gonna take the dog with us, and we're gonna go up in the woods and just be men.
Amen.
Nature
Well,
train.
I just want to say thank you so much again. Congratulations and Happy New Year to you, your family, and all of our listeners. Happy New Year, God willing. Coach Gina be back 7 January. Hey.
That's right. All right, everybody. Like Paula G always say, stay encouraged, y'all. And like Skeet Jones always say, it takes a village of puppets to raise a village. Take care, everybody. Peace out.